Hey,
So,
happy Saturday night, y'all. Cheers at you. All right. Welcome to the
cheers
Rude Barn
Saturday
Podcast.
night. We're drinking fire.
We're not only on rapid fire tonight, but we're drinking fire water on
Mhm.
top of it. So,
It's good to go.
yeah, we've got a few things we're going to get through. We're going to bam, 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 or at least as fast as we would go, which is not real fast, but it's a lot faster than we usually go, right? So, let's check that out. So, welcome to a happy Saturday night live. It's Saturday night. But I totally messed that up. That's okay. Welcome, y'all. Rude Barn Podcast. Let's get into this. All right. Welcome to the Rude Barn Podcast. What is up? Happy Saturday night, y'all.
What up? What up? What
At least when we're
up?
recording this, you're probably watching on Monday afternoon.
I'm the Rude.
I am the barn. How are
That,
ya?
my friends, is the barn. We're here.
Hey,
we're here.
look at you. Just got a thumbs up. You
Oh,
just
yeah.
got
There
Where
you
the
go.
hell did those come from? We
I don't know. They come randomly.
randomly. I don't
Yeah.
ever get them. Apparently,
Huh?
I'm not a
Yeah,
Not a
maybe.
thumbs up guy.
I don't like it.
anyway.
Yeah. We're on.
Well,
we're
yeah,
on,
we're on.
baby.
We're live. It's Saturday
Recording.
and it's
We're
night.
doing it. Yeah.
When we're recording this. So, welcome. It is the 14th of March. That's one day past Friday the 13th.
Yeah. Let us know how your Friday the 13th went, by the way.
Yeah.
How
I
did you
didn't notice much of a difference myself, but
Nah, me either.
my sister's birthday is Friday the 13th yesterday.
Oh,
It isn't Friday. It's only every 7 years that she gets a Friday the 13th.
every 7 years. Yeah.
I don't know why it's 7. Not sure.
No.
Just
Could
seems
be
to work out that way.
rotations of the moon or
I don't know.
something like
It's all on the
that.
calendar.
Yeah, my mom's birthday is on the 13th as well.
Oh.
Not of this month, but on
Different
the month
month
she
of
was
it.
born. Different month.
But
yeah,
every 7 years she gets to have
we get
the
it. Yeah, we get it.
wolves and the werewolves come out and
Yeah,
howl at the moon.
We get to wear Jason masks.
How
and
many times does she
scare
ever
her.
have a full moon on Friday the 13th for her?
You know, I don't know. I'll have to ask her.
That would be
I'll
interesting.
have to ask her.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that would be crazy. I'll have to ask my sister how many full moons on Friday the 13th she recalls, because it seems to be 7 years and 28 days. So maybe, I don't know. Well, how's the math work on that?
Yeah. How does the math work?
How's the
So you
math
got-
happen on
Yeah,
that one?
28 days. You got 7 years. You got 12 months.
It seems like
yeah.
every 28 years you get a full moon. Is that right?
Oh yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I had to try to. I'm trying to figure out like 5th grade math to help my daughter with her
Oh,
math.
are you smarter than a 5th grader, by the way?
Nope.
No,
Not math wise.
no way.
Tell you that much. They are doing some roundabout bullshit to get to
Yeah.
the same answer
Well,
I got.
it's that common corpse math that
It
they're
is.
doing.
It's garbage.
So it's garbage.
I don't
Garbage.
know. It's garbage.
They got the garbage. Well, we're here doing rapid fire, y'all. Bam, 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 bam. We're going to play some short videos of different topics.
Hey, before we get into this,
Yeah,
let them know
sorry.
where to go to grab some
Oh
merch
my
and stuff.
Gosh, good call, brother. Check out therudebarn.etsy.com. Check out our merch. This is our merch store. This is a live site for you,
Mhm.
FYI. And we got some really cool stuff. So if you check out, we've got question everything. This is our mantra. Question everything. This is what we're talking about. Don't just take shit
Mhm.
for granted. We just did a Jim Carrey interview where, not interview, but segment where we talked about, is that the real Jim Carrey that was at the César Awards in Paris, in Gay Paris?
We don't know. You
And-
don't know. Who knows?
Who knows?
gotta
We're
ask those-
questioning it.
That's the question.
Yeah, there's the OG, question everything.
Mhm.
And then this goes along real quick. We've done this for a long time. It's like you can change the label on the outside, but the beer's the same on the inside.
Mhm.
Yep. That's man.
Plain and
You
simple.
got to get that shirt. It helps.
I do
out.
got to get that shirt.
It
That's a
helps
good one.
out, and every little sale we have goes to help the show. We don't make much on it. We just want to give it to you at basically our cost plus maybe a couple bucks, just so we can get it out there. Check out the Fauci, the mad scientist. Does he not look like Alfred E. Newman? That's why I did that shirt. 'Cause I thought that was too classic.
That's the best.
And then McConnell's, so good, It's stunning. He will freeze right in front of you eating one of those big arches that the CEO, took that humongous bite out of the big arch. The CEO of McDonald's, you see that one? Huge ass bite. That was so huge that a little mouse would have been full just from that little bite he took.
Yeah, spit it out.
Oh my God. This guy, who's this guy? That guy was just weird. Anyway.
Yeah, let's rock and roll.
Shall we get into this?
Let's
get into a little rapid fire.
Baby. I'm ready.
Rapid fire. Let's get into this here in a minute. All right, so we're gonna get going on this, and we're just gonna play videos. This is a rapid fire. Gonna play the video. They're short. They're about a couple minutes long, and then you and I talk about it. Couple, back and forth on that, and then we move to the next one, and we go to the next one. So let's jump into this right now.
Rock and roll.
And we're talking about what was Lindsey Graham really told in Saudi Arabia. This is regarding the Iran war. So let's listen to this, and then we'll comment. So we'll try to play the whole thing through, and then we'll comment after so you can hear the whole thing.
The Washington Post report that everybody is dismissing as not credible. So the Post reported that MBS multiple times pressed Trump to attack Iran, even though publicly he was saying don't do it. Some reporting that I've done on this, it seems like what happened is that Lindsey Graham went to Saudi Arabia at the end of last month, met with MBS, and publicly said he made the sell to MBS. I think that what happened then is Graham came back and told Trump, the Crown Prince wants you to do it. But the Crown Prince never told Graham that. Graham just told Trump that. And then Trump told other people that, who then told the Washington Post that. And
that wouldn't be surprising.
Saudi Arabia is saying we absolutely did not say this.
Hang on. You're saying that a senator from South Carolina, who for some reason is, leading an envoy to go meet with, the leader of probably our most important Middle Eastern ally, and to gauge their support for what will be one of the most drastic and irreversible military decisions that could impact every single bit of our standing in the world. If he went and he led that envoy and then lied directly to the commander-in-chief about what was communicated and told him that he wants us to attack if he didn't, there is no room for conversation here. That person belongs on the end of something that looks just like this, right?
Sure,
I'm not saying that he did. I have no idea. But if he did, okay, if the leader of that country in Saudi Arabia was like, if MBS is like, yeah, no, we can't support that. We do not support that. We don't want you to do that. He comes back and says you need to go now, and they are behind us. You tell me, what would be an appropriate response for that?
Monday after.
What would be an appropriate response for that?
A noose, maybe.
Is that probably what he was trying to hold up there? Maybe.
Yeah. I mean,
Lindsey is a bitch. Lindsey Graham is kind of a bitch. Do you know he's never been married? I don't know if he's ever had a girlfriend. Probably because he's had boyfriends. I'm guessing. Just speculating because anyway, but that's purely beside the point.
You said the point.
He blows in the wind, whichever way it's going.
Mm-hmm.
And you and I are more conservative than we are anything else, really.
Right.
Much libertarian, conservative. I don't call myself a Republican because I can't stand those bitches.
I can't stand any of them.
Yeah, any of them. And I certainly am not a Democrat because I'm sorry, people. Democrats are even worse because they support things like the open border immigration policy. They support things like allowing men in women's sports. They, and what the hell?
Well, that's I mean, what I think makes me conservative is everything I hate about the Democrats.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
And then when the Republicans act just like the Democrats and do the same bullshit, because really behind the scenes, it's really one uniparty,
Well,
you know, and there's some outliers on both sides who really kind of want the best for our country. And Fetterman, who I didn't really like at the beginning, I'm really kind of warming up to. I think he has a brain in his head now that he's not so dementia oriented from
yeah.
this stroke that he had and everything
Yeah.
else.
You watch the shit out of between his ears. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
And it's amazing. And Lindsey Graham, it's like Mitch McConnell, just like that McConnell's shirt that we had on the Etsy store. Mitch McConnell, the turtle, is a piece of shit. Lindsey Graham is a piece of shit. These people need to be out of the freaking Republican Party and out of office. They don't have the U.S. or the people, the citizens' interests in mind. Lindsey wants to go to war. He's a warmonger. He doesn't have kids, never had kids, never been married, probably his boyfriends. Anyway, but he does not have to send his children off to war to get possibly killed or maimed or amputated, whatever, of limbs because the IED blew their freaking limbs off.
And he wasn't in the military either, right?
No. Oh,
so God, he doesn't know what it's like to go to war or even go to boot or anything like that, or what it takes, the mindset that it takes that you might be deployed at any moment.
Yeah. I mean, in all fairness, neither have I, and I don't think either. Your brother has.
Now my brother has.
My dad had. He was.
Yeah, and like 2-3 of my uncles have.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Fought in Vietnam. And the thing is that's a different kind of human, and you get a different scope on the government and life and death and everything else when you have had that experience.
Yep. Oh yeah. And Lindsey hasn't, and he doesn't understand what he's doing when he's sending your sons and daughters off to a battlefield for what? For what reason? We don't know half the time or more.
Right.
And that's sad. So Lindsey kind of is a piece of shit. Not really thrilled with him and what he is doing. It's annoying. And that's pretty much all I have to say about this is Lindsey Graham. If he said that MBS, the leader in Saudi Arabia, I'm trying to remember his Mohammed bin Salman or something like that. I'm trying to remember his name. Please put in the comments. I'll put it up on the screen when I find it, and we'll just add it up here. But if he lied and said that MBS was behind us, and there's a whole thing about MBS and the Las Vegas shooting that killed 50 people from the guy in Mandalay Bay. There's a whole thing on that, and I want to do a deep dive into that, by the way.
We can do that.
On that.
Yeah, we can do that.
If Lindsey lied to get us into war because his buddies in the military industrial complex, his buddies in the, the defense industry, defense contractors, who maybe are giving him a kickback if they can get, shit through, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. But it makes them a lot of money.
Lindsey needs to be censured. Lindsey needs to be ousted. Just like Ilhan Omar needs to go back to Somalia, she needs to be denaturalized and should not be a citizen anymore of this country.
Yeah. She's a huge piece of shit.
She is a piece of shit as well. There's a lot of pieces of shit in our government who should be out. Rashida, I call her. There's a lot of people. AOC, she needs to go back to bartending and doing favors.
AOC is almost a better salad maker than Kamala.
Oh,
I watched a video of her making word salads the other day, and oh my God, I kind of wanted to take a bite because that salad looked so good.
Yeah,
it was ridiculous,
unbelievable. Unbelievable. Anyway, so if he did that, he should be out. And South Carolina, what the F are you doing? Why do you keep voting? People, God, this is just amazing. Once you get into office, you have a pretty damn good 70, 80, 90% chance of remaining in office because you name recognition. People just know who you are, and they're not going to vote the new person who's trying to challenge you most of the time. That's why we have these career politicians in office, like the Nancy Pelosi, Chuck Schumer's, Mitch McConnell's, Lindsey Graham's, things like that, who are in office. Let's get them out.
Well, that's one thing. I'm way behind, like term limits.
Hell yeah.
You know,
It'll never
Trump,
happen.
Trump's putting that on the board, and hopefully it'll go. I doubt it will.
But doubt it'll go through.
At least it's there.
I want it to.
And for Trump's, successor, I think that maybe they can keep pushing that. I think that needs to be pushed hardcore because, like you said, it's criminal after criminal after criminal activity after these, with these people for years and years and years and years and years. And we got to get them out of there. Like, dig their graves, throw them in it, get some new blood in there, and let's keep this fucking, sphere turning the right way.
Exactly. All right, on to the next one. All right, let's listen to this and then we'll comment on this one.
Monday afternoon in San Francisco, 6th and Mission, a woman sitting at a table covered in California ballot petitions, a line of homeless people lining up around the corner waiting for their $5 bills. And she's handing out $5 bills, but not for their signatures, for your neighbor's signatures. She had a printed list, real names, real addresses, real registered voters who have no idea this is happening. She highlighted the name, told them what to write, what address, over and over and over again. For 2 hours, hundreds of people. California Secretary of State just opened an investigation. But here's a question nobody's asking. Who printed that list? Where did the voter registration data come from? Full breakdown on my channel. Links in the comments.
What do you think of that?
I think that if a drone strike hit California, it wouldn't
be the worst thing in the world.
Sad. That's what I think.
People, you have to understand the bullshit that is going on with our election process. I mean, you've got and this is not just a Democrat thing, but it is California, so it is a Democrat thing going on that you have, and that's my home state, and it pisses me off. I used to be proud to say I'm from there. Now I'm embarrassed, to be honest with you.
Yeah, as you should be.
Yeah,
they are embarrassing themselves.
They are embarrassing themselves. I mean, you got Gavin Newsom, the biggest piece of shit governor that has really put this state into the ground. I mean, it's like, oh my fucking God, you are a loser. He is horrible. He is horrible. And he's ruining this state. Highest taxes, highest gas taxes, wants to tax your car per mile because too many EVs are driving and not paying the gas tax. So he wants to charge everybody per mile. Can you imagine being charged per mile that you drive? Every mile you drive, 6 cents, 9 cents per mile every single day.
How are they even going to track that?
Was it track it with your oil changes? Anything that you show, you have to show your.
You have to, yeah.
If you re-register your car every year, which you have to do, now they're going to ask you what is your mileage.
What's your mileage?
Car? And you have to prove it with an odometer, photo. Who knows? You go in for oil changes. You go in for, any sort of service. They mark down your odometer reading. It is insidious. It is evil. The shit they are trying to pull, and you people freaking you keep voting this shit in.
Yeah, you're sucking it up. You're buying it. Like maybe you didn't know that this was in the bill or whatever. You know what I mean? When you voted for such and such and whatever. But I mean, this is he's the prime example of the kid who got bullied on the playground, who wants to come in and, now got a position of power and wants to flex it.
Yep.
But the problem is he doesn't realize the damage that he's doing, getting his revenge.
Or does he?
But dude, he's
a 960 SAT guy though. I mean,
Oh God. But that's the thing. Like he's a puppet, and
Yeah, I know.
it's really sad because they are playing him.
oh my
I
God.
mean, they got a full fist up his ass, and they are just
And
they
he
are just
loves
playing.
that full
Yeah.
fist right up his ass.
Well, and the thing is he doesn't know how to stand his ground to not let him do that, and that's fucking sad, especially
is.
for a great state like California.
Formerly great state.
Well, yeah, formerly, like,
Yeah.
because I've always been envious of California. I've always wanted to live there. I've always wanted to,
It really
some
is
of my
beautiful,
favorite
except for the
bands were from
politics.
there,
Yeah,
and
I know.
and the beach and the this and the
I
that
know.
and the whatevers.
Oh, trust me, my friend. I know. I know.
But now, I'd piss on that from 2 states away.
Shit,
Fuck
even
that
I would
noise.
piss on it. I mean, that's how. I mean, yeah, I love going back, and it was fun to visit. And we just were down there at Disneyland and had a good time. But you know what? I'm telling you, it is. It's just so expensive. You have a homeless problem. You have gas taxes that are higher. You have more regulations. You've got crime that's out of control. You got all these things that are going on, and that's just that. Let's not talk about the Palisades fires and some of
Yeah,
that, and the
I was going to say
insurance scam.
that's just the tip of the iceberg.
Yeah, the insurance scam that's going on with that, and the rebuilding, which is a bunch of bullshit. Not one place. Maybe now one place has been rebuilt, but there haven't been any houses rebuilt in the Malibu Palisades area.
No contractors will touch it.
Nope.
I saw a story on this the other day.
We got to do another dive into that.
Yeah, no contractors will touch it.
It is horrible. We did you were busy or out of town or something like that, and I had a friend of mine who was in the insurance industry, and he and I did a segment on that. And we talked about my folks, the house I grew up in, almost burned to the ground, but it didn't. We had mudslides that came in, the 3 feet of mud, 3 or 4 feet of mud in the backyard. It seeped into the house. They had to clean all that up. But it took my parents 5 years, something like that, to finally get the insurance figured out so they can get the mudslide, the damage, because the fire burned down the back of the hill, burned everything off. So the rains came and the mudslide, and then mud came down because there's no foliage on the hill to stop the mud.
To stop it, yeah.
And it took them 4 to 5 years for that. We estimated conservatively it would take 20 years for these people to get their insurance figured out from this Palisades fire. Meanwhile, your house is burned to the ground. You have a foundation there that's left and all that. You still have to pay your mortgage on that, or you will lose it. And then you have the BlackRocks and the fucking State Streets and the Vanguards coming in, buying your property for 80 grand, 50 grand, 100 grand, you name it. What low ball price are they going to offer you for your potentially $1 million, whatever, plus property? Because you can't afford to pay because a lot of those houses have been there for decades and decades, and they are very modest homes, starter homes, secondary homes for second homes for a lot of people. Purchased for a couple $100,000 maybe years ago.
Yeah, and the
now worth
90s
or whatever. It's brutal. Yeah, and this is the shit that's going on in California. And when he talks about that, you're just like, oh my God, this is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Anyway. Ready for the next one? Let's do
go.
this. All right, here we go. America is under what we call attack.
What's the biggest threat to civilization, radical Islam or Christianity? Let's go ahead and check the scorecard over the last couple of weeks in this country.
Here's what jihadis have done in the U.S. in the last week. 1 shoots up a bar in Austin, Texas, kills 2, shoots 14. Another one lights a Molotov cocktail and throws it at Christians in New York City. Another one throws a nail bomb or shrapnel IED at Christians in New York City. Another one tries to bomb a Southwest flight going from Nashville to Fort Lauderdale. Another one throws another IED shouting Allahu Akbar at a protest near Gracie Mansion in New York City. Another one makes a bomb threat and forces a plane to to land in Atlanta. Another one drops a bomb threat at Kansas City Airport. And the DHS is reporting that jihadi threats against churches across the US right now are completely exploding. Radical Islam, for some reason, is the one religion that the left will fight for till their dying breath for whatever reason. And Christianity is somehow always the problem. Funny how that works.
Funny how that works, isn't it?
Yeah, it's really weird.
Well, we did a video on the Islam thing.
Yeah, we did. And I've seen like a couple broads are like her like cheering and be like, yeah, Sharia law, bring it, let's do Sharia law.
Oh, that's great. Have you seen what happens when Sharia
I'm
law
like,
for you there, honey?
are you fucking kidding me right now?
Wow. Stupid, ignorant, stupid. See you next Thursdays.
It is.
This is what
dude.
these dumb
It's
shits
so-
are.
It's so stupid and it's so bass backwards. You know what I mean? That you know, when you look at these people who are like, how could you, number one, even say that as a woman?
Yeah.
And then number two, how could you not do like a little bit of research, just a little bit,
Why
just a
would you wanna
tiny
do
bit.
that?
All
Why
you have
would
to do
wanna
is
that?
all you have to do is Google it and look up and see the definition. That's all you have to do.
But why
It's
would
not
you
even-
want to do that?
It's not even that much
takes a lot of time.
research.
It takes a
You
lot
know-
of time, dude. It's hard.
Well, especially when you're a liberal fucking asshole that just
Well,
wants to be
I know.
a sheep and get in the crowd.
I know, but when people can just tell me what to think and tell me what to say, it's so much easier. I don't have to do it.
It's so much easier to go to
I
the
don't
rallies.
do.
So
No, I can't do it. You know, that sound like your daughters?
Absolutely crazy, dude.
I know it's freaking ridiculous. These people are. People need to understand. Do you hear Christians or Jews or Buddhists or Hindus going off and doing these things?
Right.
No. I got to find the video. Maybe we'll do it on our next rapid fire. They interviewed some Muslim douchebag piece of shit in Canada who was talking about how Muslims are going to outbreed all of us, and that's how they're going to take over and implement Sharia law, which supersedes Canadian law and US law and any other Western country's law, because it's, divine, it's Islam, it's Muhammad, it's Allah. And they are going to say, and we're going to make every country in the world Muslim run. And you already see it in New York City, where dipshit effing piece of shit Mamdani is allowing the rug sniffers to go down in freaking Times Square and do their freaking call to prayer. Now, you want to do your call to prayer in your mosque by yourself in an area that's, in your own thing, fine. Don't play it over the goddamn loudspeaker that everybody can hear. Don't sit there and do it in the middle of freaking Times Square or the middle of a street blocking traffic or all the shit that you were trying to do. And then you get these stupid ass Muslim sympathizers like you're talking about, these stupid bitches mostly, who sit there and think that it's okay. We can't be Islamophobic. Well,
yeah.
Your Islamophobia is going to destroy you, and you're going to get stoned to death for being.
You went out.
I don't know what happened on that one.
You went out after stoned to death.
Yeah, you're gonna
I
get
was like,
stoned to
shit.
death.
Yeah,
Oh
might
my
have been.
God, I didn't even touch that mute. Allah?
Now,
Is that you?
now
Muhammad? Jesus?
Muhammad, is that you?
Who was
Buddha, was that you?
That's weird.
Who was it?
I don't know. It's
Bob
kinda
Tommy, was
crazy.
that you?
Your Sharia law, because you're showing your hair, you're showing a midriff, you're showing anything but this on your face, you stupid ass.
Yeah. And they're supporting that and but they don't realize what they're supporting.
They don't.
And it's like because you want to be, you want to be inclusive to
Yeah.
everybody, sure.
You
But
want the
guess what?
freedom to
That
say what you're saying right now, but you're not going to have that
right.
either.
You will not have that. You will
Yeah.
not be able to talk. You will not be able to show your hair, your forehead in public. And and like I commented on this gal's post on Instagram the other day, and it was just that, like, she was showing how stupid these these liberal white women with no education on the subject
Yeah.
were doing this stuff. And I was like, you know what she should do is she should go to Iran, like, right now.
Yeah. Go to Qatar.
Yeah,
Go to Saudi Arabia, even. Go
and
to
just kind of
Iran, go to Iraq, yeah.
see what
How
what
their
they go
life would
through,
be
how their
as
life
women.
would be. Mhm.
Exactly. Wake
It's
up, people.
insane.
Wake the F.
Wake up.
Here we go. Here's the next one.
If you're keeping track at home, America's immigration policies have been suicidal. In the year 2026, our toxic empathy will be the death of us, literally. Immigrant after immigrant, naturalized citizen after naturalized citizen has gone on terror-killing sprees, 5 in 2026 alone. Let's do a quick rehash. The Austin, Texas mass murder and shooting by a man
same thing
put
that
on
all
a
the gals
property
did.
of a lost sweatshirt. He's here from Senegal. He doesn't belong here. There were red flags everywhere, and he went on to kill Americans. We've closed down the Kansas City airport because of bombing threats, and a plane had to do an emergency landing because a young Muslim man threatened to blow up the plane right after.
What kind of man was it?
Mhm.
I just was wondering.
Starts with an M.
That
Yeah.
2 ISIS-inspired teens decided to throw IEDs at a peaceful protest in New York.
Okay, first of all, they weren't teens. Okay, they weren't teens, and even if they were teens, the fact that the news did not report them as being Muslim or Islamic, especially Islamic. There's a difference between Muslim and Islamic.
Mhm.
People need to understand that. And we're allowing this shit because we're too afraid to call out radical Islam in this country and in Europe.
Because they don't want to admit they're wrong. They don't want to admit
Of course not.
that they're backing criminals.
They're
You know what I
backing
mean?
a cult.
Yeah.
They're backing an ideology, a political ideology, and a superiority
murderous
complex.
cult. Yeah.
These people want to rule the freaking world.
You're telling me they can burn our flag.
Yep.
And say death to America.
Yep.
For the last 20 umpteen years.
They can say Jesus and they can make fun of Jesus.
Yeah.
But you can't make fun of Muhammad.
And you're okay with this. That's the backwards ass shit. Because you don't see this when the D's are in office, right?
No, because they hide it.
They hide it.
They hide this shit.
It blows my mind, dude. It's so twisted and backwards. Yeah. It blows my fucking mind.
Yeah. And if you don't think it's happening, just listen to a little bit more of this because there's a lot more.
They blame that one on white supremacy.
There you go.
And now today we have the Old Dominion shooting, which is a young man here from Sierra Leone. Again, an immigrant, somebody who's naturalized, didn't have to be here, shouldn't be here, but was given the privilege of becoming an American just so that he could stage an ISIS-style attack. He said he was going to stage an ISIS-style attack. He's been convicted of being a member of ISIS. And he's not deported for that?
Yeah.
You can be a convicted member of ISIS and you can stay in America?
Holman, where are you?
Yeah.
You're so worried about the freaking people complaining about ICE in Minnesota. You actually have to get people like this douchebag out of our country.
Well, here's the problem is they make such a stink about shit like that. That draws his attention there.
Yeah.
And draws his attention off of this kind of shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the sleeper cells.
Yep.
and the radicals that are already in our countries, that are already armed, that are already
That have-
strapping up their,
that have
strapping up their
come in the
bombs.
last 4 years, especially, but many years prior to that, freely into this country over our open borders. Something that the Democrats themselves, including Obama and Hillary and Bill Clinton themselves, have all said: if you're here illegally and you didn't, you should be deported. If you commit a crime, you should be deported immediately. Now, all of a sudden, nobody wants to deport. And here's another thing, real quick. In our state of Utah, it is now becoming a sanctuary state.
Oh,
We're supposed to be a red state. Did you hear about this at all?
I heard rumors, but I didn't know that. Well, I haven't dug deep on it. I
Yeah,
was
I don't know if
hoping
it's
that it
fully
would just go
implemented.
away.
Yeah, but it's here. And it's like, do you people not understand what it means to be a sanctuary state? That you are allowing people who should not be in this country at all a sanctuary if they commit a crime or just coming over illegally, or they, commit murder or rape or burglary or robbery or anything else.
Mm-hmm.
Anything. They're in a gang, whatever. You're allowing your mothers, your sisters, your wives, your daughters to be, and yourselves to be put in danger from people who shouldn't be here. And look at all the immigrants who have killed people and the shit that's going on that Benny's talking about in this video right here.
It's a recipe for disaster.
It is.
Bro.
It is. Let's listen a little bit more. If you're not convinced yet, let's listen a little bit more.
They shot up Old Dominion University today, and now the reports are out from Michigan, the synagogue that was attacked. And there was a man with IEDs in the back of his car. He blasted through the actual synagogue. It was a school. Little children were there. He drove down the hallways. Luckily, he was taken out by a security guard. But the early returns there are that he also is a naturalized U.S. citizen from Dearborn, Michigan, where the Muslim population is in the 80%. So do the quick math. This can't continue.
Prime example in Dearborn, Michigan, right there. 80% of the population is Muslim, which means they want Sharia law. Do you think that they're going to vote it in themselves? Because, I don't know, they have an 80% majority.
Could you imagine Sharia law in like our Wild West states?
God. Well, here's the problem, because I've been thinking about that just for shits and grins.
Shits and giggles, sure.
So we out here, out west especially, tend to have concealed carry permits.
Mm-hmm. We got
both of us do.
Everybody can open carry.
Yeah, well, technically, constitutionally, anybody can open carry, and I think that's passed and stuff like that. And then also, I think it's also passed that your concealed carry in the state here also is valid in any other state.
Yeah, it's valid in any other state. Yeah.
So the thing is, but here's the problem: you can defend yourself, and you know where I'm going with this.
Yes, I do.
You can defend yourself. And you can take out people like this who maybe commit these crimes against Christians, against anybody who's not Muslim or Islamist.
Mm-hmm.
And now all of a sudden you're a white supremacist. No, but it doesn't matter.
Oh, white supremacist. I'm a white supremacist.
Matter if you're black, white, Mexican, Asian, whatever.
Yeah, because I want to defend myself because of this radical
cult
ideology. Yeah, that's trying to push their way into my neighborhood.
Yeah, and we want to make one thing,
and then try to force me to do some bullshit that is their bullshit, and it's not my bullshit.
It's their culture that they're trying to put in our face. And I got two things to say on that. But one is, we just want to say we do understand there's a difference between Muslims and Islamists, radical Islamists especially. Okay, there are good Muslims who want to integrate with our society, be a part of it. Then there's the Islamists who want to take over, who want Sharia, who want Muslim. You either be Muslim or you die, or you have to pay a huge tax, which makes no freaking sense to me. There was a guy in Canada. I didn't have the video. He was telling the guy, I think I can't remember if I just mentioned it or not. I'm trying to remember. We had a few things going on. Rapid fire. Anyway, he was talking about how they're going to outbreed us all, and they're going to take over in Canada, especially now. And then it's interesting that it's Canada because they don't have like the gun laws like we do here in the U.S. So although it might take a little longer, look what's happening in Dearborn, Michigan. 80% of the population. Look what's happening in Little Somalia in Minnesota. They're getting to be, and they're very brazen. They're being held up by the libtards who are allowing them to do all this, not realizing they're sealing their own fate.
They are. Do they not?
Morons.
Do they not think that it's gonna trickle down to them? That's the stupid thing, dude. That's the shit that blows me away. Like you're
asking for your own. You're digging your own grave.
You're digging your own grave. You're out here on these picket lines digging your own grave.
Unbelievable. And if that's not enough, here's another story about Mamdani, that piece of shit communist Islamic terrorist bastard who was voted in by 9%, 10% of the population of New York, something like that. And he got voted in because nobody wanted to vote. And this is what you get. So here we are. Here's his intern. This bitch needs to be deported. I don't care if she's an American citizen. She needs to be deported. Go live in the countries that you're trying to push this shit on and see how you like it.
Mayor Mamdani, Comrade Mamdani, has himself surrounded by crazy
comrade.
I like it.
Who's out there liking
Trish.
every single October 7th social media post that she can find. I don't even want to say, like, because it's just, it's a real downer. I get it, but let's just say, like, any woman that would do that is a sick, twisted woman.
Yeah,
sick
agreed.
And twisted. And now he's got an intern who's trying to rally up people, saying, "How gangsta are you? I want you to join my cause." And then she cites like a bunch of prophet stuff and, her religion. For goodness sake, she wants a jihad against America because we're fighting Iran. This is who Mamdani surrounds himself with. Remember it. Watch.
We don't want to get doxxed, and we don't want to get suspended, and we don't want to get arrested.
She look familiar? Did I play a video of her before?
How gangsta are you? That's just my question. How much are you willing to do it? And I know everyone has their own risk levels, but at the end of the day, that's a question to ask.
I don't hit women, but this is one I would.
Everyone has their own risk levels. Really?
She's something else, dude. This bitch is something else. Here, let me back up a little bit because I was talking over it. But again, I don't hit women, but this is one I would. Just saying.
That's a question to ask ourselves. How committed am I to this? To what extent of my personal material gains am I willing to sacrifice for this bigger noble cause? And
what is that cause?
I truly believe that when your heart is in the right place, if you get suspended, if you get doxxed, because it's bound to happen when you're doing a righteous cause and when you're doing something for the sake of Allah.
Oh my God. Do people not listen to this stupid bitch? What's righteous? What is right? What might be righteous to you is not righteous to other people. I mean, people who think it's okay to, do inappropriate things with young children and they think it's okay, doesn't make it okay.
Yeah. Well, I mean, especially too, like, well, you can have multiple wives. You can freely hit and beat your wives. You can kill your children.
Mm-hmm. You can throw gays off of roofs and burn them alive because they're gay.
Mm-hmm.
Queers for Palestine, though. Queers for Palestine.
It's the funniest shit ever.
I know.
It's insanity, dude. It's people have lost their fucking minds.
I don't understand.
No shit.
I don't understand why any woman in their right mind
would back this.
Would back this.
Not
the
one.
most misogynistic
Even the-
piece of shit religion out there.
Exactly.
Not
And
even
the
a religion, sorry.
Craziest
Political ideology.
liberal women and what are the feminists?
Yeah.
They are backing this. Like
I know.
Don't you understand that this religion and this ideology goes against everything
Will
that
oppress you.
that you have stood your ground on,
That you have fought for. Everything
Yeah.
that you have fought for. Women's rights, equal rights, this, that, and the other goes down the shitter because you dumbasses think that Islam is the greatest thing in the world. And it is for men.
Oh yeah, it is for men.
It is for men.
They don't realize that they are going to be handcuffed and burned at the damn stake. It's going to be worse than fucking the Salem
it.
trials, bro.
They don't get it. Let's listen a little bit more and then we'll move on to the next one.
Here in the West, it will never ever be in vain. And the true believer
Oh my God.
does not fear that, because the true believer knows that the Akhirah is a promise.
The
Okay,
hell?
I'm sorry, it's a violent religion. Don't
It
take
is.
my word for it. Dr. Zudi Jasser, great guy. He's like a real doctor. We used to have him on my Fox show all the time. And Zudi has tried to push some kind of reform within Islam because Islam is so violent and so bad. And he's like, you, as a society, you just can't exist like that. As a world, we can't exist where we have this faith of Islam, which is absolutely at odds with the Judeo-Christian philosophies.
It's true. She hit it right on the head on that.
Yeah, she did.
Here's another one. This is where Joe Rogan finally realizes this problem. Let's check that. And this gal is trying to, I think she's Israeli, and she's trying to let people realize and understand what's really going on here. So
Thank God Joe Rogan and JD Vance are now talking about this. Let's watch what they have to say. But that people are supporting terrorism in the West as if this is a good thing. It's not. It's dangerous, and we've had enough. Let's watch what they have to say on this. What terrifies me if ISIS were to detonate a
This is worst case scenario. Case scenario is a state adopts Sharia law.
Yeah, that would be a bad.
Jeez.
This is worst case
imagine?
scenario.
Yeah.
And I think all these people that would cry against the concept of Islamophobia
Yeah.
really need to understand what that means
That's
and
right.
what you're talking about. And to say that that's an outrageous and ridiculous idea that's never going to take place, it's kind of already worked its way into some societies.
It has.
It has.
It has.
And there are, is it Minnesota that has call to prayer?
There is a place in Minnesota, I believe, where they have prayer calls as a matter of local government.
can you believe that
As
shit?
a matter of local government,
Can you believe that shit?
fuck you, dude. I thought me standing up and saying, no, I'm not taking the fucking jab.
Yeah,
This is 5 years ago.
right.
I felt like I was a revolutionist.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. And you were
I was
shunned,
like-
and I was shunned the whole
But
time.
the thing was, I was
Shunned
I
and
was-
shamed.
I was ready to be taken to jail for that. I was ready to stand on my roof for that. I was ready to cock the shotgun for that.
I didn't travel to a trip to Europe because of it.
Well, yeah. And this is the thing, like I I felt that was a hard stance, and I'm so glad that I was alive during that time so I could take that hard stance. And I'm still a pure blood, and my kids
Same.
are still a pure blood,
Yeah.
pure blood. But it felt like it was going to be law. It almost seemed like it was
We would be forced to show a vaccine passport to
Yeah.
go, not just to fly, but to go into a restaurant, to go into
to
a
the
concert,
grocery
to go
store.
into a
Mhm.
grocery store, to go into a sporting event. This is the
Mhm.
shit that people don't fucking realize is you cannot let that nobody needs to know your vaccination status. Nobody needs to know it. Nobody needs
Nobody's
to know,
business. Who
nobody's
cares?
business. We have survived for millennia without having to know somebody's status. Oh, but people have given to welcome to humanity.
Yeah.
Welcome to living in a world. Okay. Sorry. You get a cold because somebody had a cold. Your kids come home from school sick because some other kid had a sick, and you get sick. It's part of the deal. Build your immunity up naturally. Get foods that are antioxidants. Eat foods that are going to help you survive. Zinc and magnesium and vitamin C and D and E and so on and so on.
Yeah, but that was the whole thing. Is that no, that wasn't good enough.
No, we have to take synthetic, fucking man-made thing.
Natural cures weren't good enough. You couldn't do natural because that wasn't good enough. You had to take synthetic shit that was approved by,
because somebody made money on it.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. It was approved by the people that would make money off of it, and they said that this is the only way that you weren't gonna get sick.
The only way, and that wasn't a red flag for most of you people.
When someone tells me this is the only way, that's a huge red flag for me.
Absolutely.
Because I'm like, somebody's trying to run some sort of fucking
somebody got a scam going
on me.
Yeah, and somebody's making money.
Yeah.
Yep.
I do think that's happening.
Getting real weird.
Yeah.
Stuff like that starts getting real weird. And when you have people that are openly saying our goal is, and they've talked about this in Toronto, like activists have said, our goal is to outbreed everyone who is not Muslim and vote it out and put Sharia law in place.
What would happen to a gay couple?
By the way, this is exactly what they plan on doing. It's not a theory. It's what they do.
Yep.
In Gaza.
Executed
this is the one.
To Islamic law. Islam doesn't endorse gayism. Islam doesn't endorse homosexuality.
Okay, so would you like to see Sharia law?
Queers for Palestine.
Canadian law?
At some point it will. Because we have families, we are making babies.
Listen.
You're not. Your population is going down the slum. Right? By 2060, Muslims will be the biggest religious group the world over. What are you going to do then? We owe our allegiance and our loyalty first and foremost to our religion, not to the Queen. To be honest, when I went for my so-called oath, I was silent. I didn't say anything. It was your responsibility to make sure you got it out of me. So when I didn't say anything, I'm not liable to any. Like you had a Western majority nation in a land of Native Americans. One day we can have a Muslim majority nation here in Canada, right in your face.
Right in your face.
Right
We're
in your
going to have a
face.
Muslim majority here in Canada, right in your face. Women will have to wear burqas right in your face. That's what they're saying.
That's very scary.
Women have to wear burqas. This works.
Yeah. Real religious tyranny is increasingly in Western societies where you've had a large influx of immigrants who don't necessarily assimilate into Western values.
Don't necessarily. Absolutely freaking don't.
Yeah. JD Vance was tiptoeing on that one.
He was definitely tiptoeing on that. JD, come on.
But you're right though. But where's the problem, Barn?
It's us allowing this shit to happen.
Yeah, we have to expand on this. It's us not having pride in what we
for our culture.
Yeah, what we have, what we've built, and our children and our children's children, and and not realizing and having that kind of patriotic stance, or just like coal burning inside of them.
Yeah,
that's why this this shit is has been I guess allowed or has crept in.
No, it's been allowed. You're absolutely right. It has been allowed. The very first girlfriend I had when I moved here, years and years ago, from Texas, cute gal from Texas, who was a nurse up at the hospital, up in the U, was married to an Iranian guy, Muslim guy. She was so used to walking 2 steps to the right and 3 steps back from him.
You're like, where the fuck are you? You're on a date. You're like, where the
I know.
fuck
I'm
did
just
you
like,
go? What are you doing?
No, you get the fuck up here. You are with me. You walk next to me, hand in hand, arm in arm, whatever. Even just next to me.
That's wild.
That is the kind of shit. She was from Texas. She was an American, Texas, all of that.
Sure.
And got influenced by this mother effer who indoctrinated and brainwashed her, put into her head she had to walk 2 steps to the right and 3 steps back. Just one thing, just that alone. And you
That's
don't
if
think
he
there was
let
a
her
lot
out of
more?
the house.
I don't know how she ended up getting divorced from this guy, because I don't know why he didn't think he deserved to beat the shit out of her and anything if she even thought about leaving him.
Yeah, I had a friend who same sort of deal. She was married to one of these guys, and it was she had to come home. She had to tell him about her day.
Yep.
Sometimes he would come into the shop that we worked in, and he would just sit there and watch her for her 6-hour shift.
Great.
He would just sit there and watch her.
That sounds so good. So
yeah,
great.
and then when she got home, like if he wasn't sitting there and watch her, she got home, she had to literally dictate her day almost half an hour to half an hour.
Good Lord.
And if he said he had spies there.
Oh,
and if
my
her
God.
story didn't
What a
match
great
up
life that is.
with his spies there,
Yeah.
beat her.
What a great life that would be to live
And
under,
he'd beat
wouldn't it?
her every single night,
Yeah.
dude. It was absolutely insane. And then
That's the shit that's coming if we allow it.
Yeah, of course. He's, you call the cops, I'll kill you.
Of course.
And they'll never find your body.
Yeah. Of course.
She's
Because I've
scared
got people.
stiff.
I've got
Yeah.
spies everywhere.
Exactly. I've got spies, I got people. You know?
Everybody in my freaking mosque.
Mhm.
We cannot. Am I
And
Islamophobic?
in Barn, this is 20
Yes.
years ago.
Yes, I am.
This was 20 years ago, Barn.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
imagine how bad it is now.
This was 35 plus years ago
Yeah.
with this gal. This my first girlfriend here.
Wild.
And we allow it. Am I Islamophobic? Yes. In the fact that anybody who wants me dead or wants me to live under their laws, their religious bullshit, religious fake ass religion law, can go to hell as far as I'm concerned.
Well, anybody who says death to America.
Yeah, like that other guy, in your face, we're doing this shit.
And we'll burn our flag freely and then come to our country.
I know.
For whatever agenda. Just that alone, dude. Okay, put yourself on the other side of that. Say you are saying death to Israel and burning their flag, and then you go to their country for whatever agenda you have.
Yeah.
Can you imagine the mindset, dude?
Wow. The balls.
It's insane. Yeah, the balls.
If you were allowed to do that, if Israel I don't want to be, whatever phobic. But you call it, oh my God.
I'd be like, yeah, I'm a Christian and I hate Muslims. You'd almost be dead on the spot.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you, I've been to the World Trade Center after the 93 bombing went to the top. I was at the World Trade Center ground zero after the attacks 2 years later. There's still a hole. I've been to the site, been to the museum, all that stuff. Sure. We will never forget has been the slogan since 2001.
Mm-hmm.
Really? You seem to have forgotten because you just voted in a piece of shit Islamist communist piece of shit
state.
And he's allowing these freaking, like they call, rug sniffers to sit there and pray in the middle of Times Square in your face.
But you haven't forgotten, right?
But you haven't forgotten. No, we will never forget, by the way.
Yeah.
Blows my freaking mind, this bullshit. On to the next one. Let's do this.
Something fishy about this whole Marjorie Taylor Greene thing because it came out of left field. So I figured that there was some money had to be some money involved in the equation. And it turns out we may have been right.
Man, does the truth always come out later on down the road. You know, a lot of people know Marjorie Taylor Greene as this loudmouth individual that was outspoken for the American people, and then all of a sudden she does the switch up in the last couple months and then abruptly just resigns. Makes you wonder why, right? Now it's being reported and found, and I confirmed myself on the FEC website that Marjorie Taylor Greene was receiving funds from the Marouk family. And if you're not familiar with the Marouk family, more specifically Sam Marouk, it's an individual here in the state of Texas who is a huge funder of the left. For example, this is part of his family, Hassan. Others in the Marouk family showing Act Blue, Ilhan Omar, and then Sam himself. And I ran it through a couple AIs just to verify, make sure, maybe I read something wrong. But then people are like, oh, it's only $7,000. Yeah, but it's $7,000 from an extremely blue individual. That in itself is a red flag, pun intended. Because not only would it explain her 180 there at the end, it would also explain her abrupt resignation out of nowhere. Oh, but her family was being threatened. Yeah, she's a congressional member. That happens to them literally every day. That's nothing new. But I knew there was something off about her, and this kind of points to the right direction for me. Does it explain the whole story? No, but it's starting to come into focus a little bit more.
Interesting. Remember, or I should say, remember when she used to be the biggest MAGA Trump supporter, blah, 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 blah.
Mm-hmm.
And then she started to flip, and then Trump called her out, and you wonder why. And now it's starting to make sense. Bought and freaking paid for. This is why I hate our politics. This is why I hate the way shit works. And that once you get into the U.S. federal governmental system in Congress, you're corrupted.
But that just shows how easy it is to corrupt anybody who gets into office. You know what I mean? Outside of their state.
It is absolutely.
It seems like it's a drop in the bucket.
Oh my God. It is. And it's a shame because I've always said, it's a shame that people get into politics and they're either doing it for they're going to make a mint. How can you make and be worth $130 million on $174,000 salary?
Right.
Or whatever your number.
I mean,
you name the number, the millions upon millions of dollars. If you're still living on 174,000, which means you may have 120,000 you're living on after your supposed taxes that you're supposedly paying.
Yeah. I was talking to a buddy of mine the other day about this, and he's liberal, not necessarily blue or but he's liberal.
Yeah.
He's kind of like us, but he's more on the blue side. And the problem is we kind of got in a heated debate. And I was like, dude, it really comes down to this. Like, if you want to make a difference, then start out in your local government.
Yeah. Local government.
Like, don't go like, reposting these people that are bitching about gas prices and are bitching about the war and bitching about this and bitching about that have no grounds to do anything about it. They just want to bitch, right?
Yeah.
And they want to trigger, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I'm like, don't do that. Yeah, I was like, you're better than that, bro. And he's like, yeah, okay, I guess you're right. And I was like, so if any of us want to do something, to make a real change, because bitching about shit on the internet is not going to make a fucking change. If any of us want to do something, get into your local government, start doing that, get in on your ground level, start making changes in your own neighborhood, and then in your community, and then in your county, and then, maybe in your state. But if you're not willing to do that, then shut the fuck up, because you voted for the fucking pieces of shit that are fucking us now, right?
And you keep voting them in.
Right. And that goes for Trump, that goes for Biden, it goes for fucking Clinton, it goes for fucking Obama. It goes for all of them.
Yep. Yeah.
And I was like, dude, so if you're not willing to do that, then shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because the only real change is going to be new people coming into office, working their way up with legitimate causes and wanting legitimate change to get these bureaucrats out of here.
Yeah.
And calling them on their, fraudulent bullshit.
Yeah.
And it makes me wonder how, like, you can have that mindset, like these people that are in office right now, you can have that mindset going into that, but then get corrupted so fucking easy.
Amazing. A little bit of money.
Oh man, it's
$7,000, $10,000, $5,000. That's
like
all it takes. Sometimes
it's like a 180, dude.
My God,
it blows me away.
I hate our freaking politicians. I really do. There's
Blows
very
me away.
few, both sides of the aisle. There's very few that I have any respect for. And it's a shame. And this is a prime example. Marjorie Taylor Greene, MTG, she was the crazy one, but she had good intentions to really kind of make this country great again, to really work for the people. And now all of a sudden she's done this 180 flip for $7,000 or whatever, however many $7,000 that she's received. I don't know, whatever, but it's pathetic. So both parties suck, but sometimes the Democrats suck a lot more. Here's a prime example going on in Seattle. And if this doesn't get your blood boiling, I don't know what will, but this is typical blue state bullshit right here.
All right, this is not a drill. It's official. Governor Bob Ferguson and legislative Democrats are saying they will pass the income tax this session in Washington state. And this is after Bob Ferguson, he was like, oh, maybe we don't get to it this session. Maybe it's not done. He was trying to act like a tough guy and trying to act like the adult in the room, like, oh, we need to be really responsible in how we pass this income tax. No, he was always going to pass it. He was always going to pass it. We knew that. And so basically he's saying, oh, I want more tax breaks in the income tax. Look, it doesn't matter how many tiny little tax breaks you put into it so you can have the media act like you gave us a bunch of tax breaks as part of an income tax. The net outcome is going to be disastrous for the state of Washington. He's putting in some business tax breaks in there. Okay. But if you have a business and you have a pass-through income of more than $1 million, which is not uncommon for small businesses in the state of Washington, now you're paying 9.9% off the top. And just so you understand what that means, and this is true for a lot of businesses, the business owner isn't a millionaire, but the way that they're set up as an LLC, the money at the end of the year that's left in their business account is essentially their income, even if it's money that they need on hand for payroll, for emergency expenses, etc. So now all of a sudden they're being taxed as a millionaire, and they're not millionaires. And so many of them testified before lawmakers in Olympia, telling them what this income tax on quote unquote millionaires would do to their business. And Democrats don't care. This is the nail in the coffin of our state's economy. So in just 2 years on the job, Bob Ferguson will have now twice signed off on the largest tax increase in state history. He did it last year and he'll beat it this year. And he will have signed off on an income tax that will turn into an income tax on everyone in a matter of a few years. I mean, if you don't believe that, I just don't know what to tell you at this point. It's what they've always wanted.
I got a bridge.
And it will destroy innovation in the state. A bunch of AI entrepreneurs wrote the governor a letter this week saying, don't do that. We're not going to invest in the state if you do this. Well, he's doing it anyway. Starbucks announced it's opening up a headquarters in Tennessee. Amazon announced it is dramatically reducing its footprint in Seattle. All of these things are stacking up. It is the end of Washington state being a place for tech and innovation. And when that goes and they move to Florida or Tennessee or whatever it is, tax revenue is going to plummet in the state of Washington. And who are they going to come crawling to make up for that lost revenue? You, me, the middle class. You are going to have to make up the difference.
I don't understand.
I want to shed a tear for that bitch, but I just can't.
No, she's actually one of the good ones. No, she's one of the good ones. She's letting people know. She used to be very liberal, very blue state, very lib, very left, and she has come around and seen the light. She's got a great show. She's got a lot of stuff, but she's calling out the bullshit. And she's saying, look, the Democrats, the Gavin Newsoms, the whatever the hell his name was of Washington and Oregon's the same way. They're all, New York, Colorado, Chicago, and then Illinois, etc. They don't care. Governor Cox here in Utah is the same wolf in sheep's clothing.
I know, and the reason, sorry, like I don't mean to like bash her or anything, but it's been happening to me.
Yeah.
A sole business owner for over 20 years. You,
yeah,
sole business owner for over 30 years. I've already seen it. It's already happened, and we've already been taxed to high fucking heaven.
Yeah.
And when I see that kind of trickle down to other places, I'm like, yeah, what were you expecting? You know what I mean? Especially with shitbag politicians in office.
And you dipshits keep voting these fuckers back in.
Yeah. And why?
And they keep raising your taxes. The next video I'm going to show talks about Gavin Newsom. Same bullshit, different state. They increase your taxes. They increase all these expenditures. They try to suck every bit of life out of you. They try to tax every mile that you drive, and so on and so on, and blah, 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 blah. On down. I mean, the list goes on. And you keep voting them back in.
Yeah. Why are you voting
I'm
them
not
back
saying
in?
the Republicans are the savior, but the most part that I ever see is Democrats tax and spend. They want to tax you more and spend more. The Republicans usually are the ones that set up the tax cuts.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying all of them, but a lot of them are usually the tax cuts. Democrats, tax increase, no matter what. Steal more money out of your pocket. You make $5,000 a month. They want to steal $3,000 to $4,000 of that to give you back all of these little benefits and privileges. Wait a minute. Why don't you just take a grand or 500 or nothing and then let me fucking do what I want to do?
Well, why don't you just not take anything?
That's
because
what I mean,
I'm already I pay taxes on the food I buy.
Yep.
The gas I buy, the electricity that I buy, my mortgage insurance,
your property tax,
my property tax,
your vehicle taxes.
Yeah, my vehicle
registration.
taxes, yeah, my air tax, my water tax. I'm tapped out on fucking taxes.
But now you want to tax more of my income before I even get to spend it
on the shit that you're going to tax me on anyway.
So I get taxed already, and then you're taxing me again for using or buying or using a service or whatever on top of that.
Any goods I buy.
Do you know that if you pay off your house, you still have to pay property taxes on the land that it sits on and the value of the home proportionally, percentage-wise, for what it's worth? Yes, of course you do. But do you think of it that way? Like, well, wait a minute. My house is never paid off. This is why I think a lot of financiers are telling you, don't pay off your house. Why are you paying off your house? What's the point? What's the benefit of it? Other than, you don't have a house payment, but you still are paying property tax.
Yeah, problem is once you pay it off, now it's not a write-off. Now you're fucked.
Right. So now you don't get that. I don't. It just. This is fucking bullshit.
Fucking bullshit.
It's fucking bullshit. Here's Gavi. Here's the next one. Talking about this. I mean, this just goes on and on.
California Governor Gavin Newsom, he had a meltdown. Picture AOC at that Munich conference.
I think that
I've struggled with being able to communicate. I told you what my why is.
He was asked a very simple question that any politician should be able to answer.
What is the thing you want to accomplish?
I don't have like a brand. I don't have a tag, Make America Great.
The question, what do you want to accomplish?
I'm a Sarge Schreiber Democrat. The spirit of the 60s, the spirit of King and Gandhi and, Havel and, Mandela.
Gandhi and Nelson Mandela.
And that's my why.
It's not going well.
You tell me. You're better.
Let's
I don't know who you.
Let's do the Gavi. Let's do the Gavi.
Say that into human.
What if you vote for me? You get X. Talking to a regular guy.
Screw cap wines and selling wine at retail.
Screw cap wines.
Trying to sort of break up monopolies.
What's
All
the
the
screw
iterations.
cap wine? What is that?
I see how here we're going.
And then he swung by Katie Couric. Basically, the interview boiled down to, you're incredibly fucking hot. You're hot, Gavin. And you might be too hot to win. How hot are you? Even hotter than I think you are?
do you have a Zoolander problem?
No, Jesus. Yes, Zoolander.
I'm so courageous. Are you just ridiculously good looking, as
Yeah,
folks said?
hardly.
No, seriously,
But
what do you do about that?
It's just who I am. It's just who I am.
Ridiculously good looking. Maybe he stumbled upon his slogan.
Really, really, really ridiculously good looking.
You don't like hot Gandhi?
I want to ask.
Oh my God.
That's so good.
Oh, wasn't that awesome? This is just dipshit. That's just dipshit.
Gavi. There's Gavi. And
It's
the Gavi.
Gavi. I'm
and
just
the Gavi.
so that's just who I am. I'm a
That's just who
960
I am.
SAT guy. No, I'm not dissing you because you're a 940. But hey, I'm a
Just have
960.
wine bottles. Yeah, it's in my new bill.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah, let's just throw it in
bullshit, man.
He's such a douchebag, and this
Such
dipshit wants to be
douche.
president. Oh my God, what a effing idiot!
Kids can't read good.
Kids can't read good.
Idiot.
Well, that's your problem. That's your fault, dipshit. So
Yeah, no shit.
all right, let's listen to the next one here. We're rapid firing this through right now. So here's
I'm
Sunny
loving it.
Hostin, who's a
Oh,
freaking retard.
she's so dumb.
Well, she's an idiot.
I want to ask you why you keep calling this like an undocumented attack, that you don't agree with the war and illegal.
Unconstitutional.
So did you believe it was illegal in April of 2011 when the Office of Legal Counsel memo stated from President Obama that the president has constitutional authority to direct the use of military force in Libya because he could reasonably determine that such use of force was in the national interest prior. Congressional approval was not constitutionally required to use military force in these operations. Where were you then complaining?
I agreed. Well, I wasn't on the show then.
No, but personally, would you have stood against that?
I was at home complaining. No, I wasn't complaining because
Do you
the
have a
Office
problem
of
with
Legal
that?
Counsel was involved. And the Office of Legal Counsel.
This came after.
But the Office of Legal Counsel is the office in the Department of Justice, because I worked at the Department of Justice, that
did you?
reviews these things and makes legal determinations. This president doesn't go through the Office of Legal Counsel. This president does not go to Congress. Congress has the power to to approve wars. This Congress has the power of the purse. This president is acting
really
more like a
stupid.
king
We
than
haven't
anything
used
else. He is
that
the
power
commander. He's
since
the commander in chief,
Truman.
but he is not a king. And so I
Oh,
think that
there
this
it
should
is.
have gone through
No king.
Congress. I think that the American embassies should have been notified so that American citizens in the
Would not have been
would have
carried
been,
out.
would have been able to get to safety. I don't think that this was done appropriately. I maintain that this is illegal and unconstitutional.
Do
you like the result?
But
Do you like the result?
no, I don't.
So
I
you
don't
would
know
rather the
results.
regime head and those
because I think
40,
it's very
18 leaders
I think
be
it's
in
very
place.
easy to start a war, very difficult to end one.
Since this is going to be a long conversation.
I love how Whoopi.
Today,
Just cut off
Whoopi.
Whoopi knew her girl was getting torched
Oh, she was being torched.
because she didn't know what the fuck she was talking about.
Oh my God. If you had, okay, and every president has done this from time and eternity. If you had to get congressional approval to do anything,
Like take a shit. Yeah.
it would never freaking happen and get done. And guess what? A lot of American lives and other lives from the countries we're in
Well, yeah.
would be
and our
lost.
adversaries, yeah.
would be killed.
They'd be
You don't
lost.
have time to go through the proper channels. The president, Bill Clinton, Obama, Bush, Biden, Trump, you name them. They have all had the ability to do this.
Mm-hmm.
Let's not get on our freaking high horses and thinking that Trump is a king, no kings.
Yeah. All of them have done it.
And all of them have done it. It is absolutely asinine. So let's get a little bit of history of the Democrat Party, because these people are gaslighting y'all, and y'all better figure this shit out, because here is something that's truth hurts. Truth bomb coming at you.
The true history of the Democratic Party as told through AI.
What up, America? It's Andrew Jackson, that guy you roll
love
up to
that.
hit some powder. I founded the Democrat Party and chose the jackass as our mascot.
Owen Wilson.
Now, as you can probably tell, times have changed a bit from the party back in my day, and present-day Democrats will come to hate me, but that's your problem. Jackson started the Democrat Party to appeal to the common man. Democrats today sometimes give him credit for that, but only after calling him an evil white bigot. Needless to say, the party started off pretty sketchy by today's standards. We were by far the pro-slavery party all the way through the Civil War.
After the war, we cleaned up our act and supported the North's Reconstruction efforts. Totally kidding, we doubled down on racism and became the party of the Klan.
But seriously, we didn't have much of a platform after the war, except Jim Crow, but that was until our boy came in hot on his rollerblades. Then came the Depression. People lost trust in markets, so I wheeled in to drastically expand communism across the country, and Democrats been hooked ever since. Up until this point, blacks had always voted Republican, as they were the party that freed the slaves. But after FDR's New Deal, blacks swung 75% Democrat. This was a complete realignment, not because of civil rights, but because of economics. All while the Democrats were still the party of the Klan, and their stronghold was the South. We pushed segregation throughout the South and filibustered the 1964 Civil Rights Act for 75 days. It wasn't until Republicans stepped up and found even more votes to pass the bill. So ask yourself, how are Democrats seen as the party of the civil rights? Well, it's because
Democrats are very persuasive. But again, it ultimately boils down to economic incentives. Once Democrats realize the power of government spending and handouts, you can appeal to any voter group and lock them in.
1, 2, 3.
Gays for Palestine.
Yeah, there it is.
So anyway, to sum it up, shit ton, but it's not because of the mythical party switch. Democrats controlled the South all the way through the 1990s, but they did adopt new policies like massive social spending and welfare programs that allowed them to appeal to more diverse voting groups.
Thanks, Owen Wilson.
Got him. Ladies and gentlemen, find the line.
Find the lie. Isn't that awesome? Classic.
Yep. What does, Barn?
You know, I don't know. I mean, please find the lies and the non-truths that AI put together in that, and Owen Wilson was talking about. There's Andrew Jackson. Let us know, really, if that's not the case, but pretty sure that's accurate.
Well, here's the thing that I would beg all of us to do is do your homework.
Yeah. Do your research. Question everything.
Do your due diligence. And like Barn said, question everything. That's what we're here for. That's our message. And that's always our message. And that's why, you know, we've done this, you know, this show to show you guys, you know, the reasons why you should question everything, because not everything that the media tells you is true. Not everything that history books tells you is true.
Right.
Not everything that your mom and dad tell you about history and how the world works is true.
It's because mom and dad are stupid.
Mom and dad must be
whatever. Dad. Okay, mom. That's how we are as teenagers.
Yeah.
Whatever, dad.
So yeah,
You know, yeah.
get out there, question everything, gang, and do your due diligence.
And go buy some merch at our store.
And pop a comment in the comments. We want to argue with somebody. We haven't argued with somebody in a long time. So do your diligence. Like, share, subscribe. Go buy some shit.
Go buy some shit.
The Rude Barn.
TheRudeBarn.etsy.com. Comment below, share, like, and please subscribe. And tell every people if you're having a good time watching this and we entertain you, hopefully. Let a few other people know. We've got some cool stuff we want to do, and we're having planned to do with some guests of ours and some friends and stuff like that have some awesome insight on certain topics that we're going to be doing. So check that out coming up soon. We love doing these rapid fires. They're not real rapid, but for us, they're rapid because usually we spend a good hour on a topic or something. At least these are, 10 minutes long, and that's pretty rapid for us, but we're going to do a bunch more. But please, like I said, question everything, go to our store, check things out, buy some merch, help the store. We've been super busy. We haven't been able to edit the last ones we've done. I'm going to try to edit these and do that as well. So anyway,
Barnes in charge of that. I'm just a shitbag talking shit.
Yeah, exactly. And he does talk shit. So hopefully we've allowed you to chuckle a little bit and have a good time. But join us on the next one. We've got some good stuff coming up. And again, like, subscribe, share, and tell your friends. And we appreciate all of that. It takes a second. It's free, but it helps the show out. And we hope to see you next time. So have a good one, everybody. Question everything.
Better gang.